Hello guys, it's Aaron with some more F1 for the TheLADLAW, and today we've got 3 races: Spa, somewhere, I think it's Monza, and Singapore. Terrible memory right here. But anyway, we're straight into the thick of things. Qualifying at Spa, one of my favourite tracks of the calendar, and I'm not going to lie to you, one of my worst qualifying sessions of the calendar. But anyway, we got going. It was a good first corner. We were up on the Ghost, as you can see on the little mini map that's just behind me, but we lose some time here in that tough corner, and then on the acceleration out after that corner we lose time again. But here into this corner we gain time on the Ferrari. I think it's most likely Alonso. I can't really see Massa getting a pole position. But anyway, the lap started off well, and then it collapsed. I'm not gonna lie. It just went from good to alright to bad to really bad. My first sector was very good considering I'm in a mid-table car. I was quite happy with it. But then the second and third sectors, I didn't do well. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I'm not gonna say I'm the world's best driver. I just don't know what happened. The stewards, yeah, it was the stewards. I'm not gonna say that. I drove a poor lap, and I'm not gonna argue with that really. But anyway, we're coming up to the fast part of the track, the third sector. Always fun to drive. Maybe not in qualifying, as you have to worry about DRS and things like that. And this last chicane is tough when you're going fast. To get back to lower speeds is a bit tough, and then this last corner you have to go, it's basically a full-on U-turn to get back round. But that is the lap. We qualify 17th, which means we are not 18th. We're not the slowest of the fastish guys. We are the second slowest. Yes! And here we are for the start of the race. Starting 17th. Put it onto Rich Mix. Of course, we want a fast start to the lap. Fast start to the race, I should say, not lap. But here we go. It gets all tight as it usually does in the first corner. We're already up to 11th. After one corner, it was a great start for us, and then we go up the outside of Button here, and then up the inside of Maldonado. We managed to get a couple of places there somehow. Seem to be rallying a little bit, trying to hold it at the end. It was a good move, I'd say. Good solid move. And into the slower section of the first sector. We go up the inside of Massa there. Hamilton just holds us off at the start. But then I brake really late actually into there, and I'm up to 5th. And I think after I went wide there, I lost all my momentum and Webber got away from me. But here we are, we're into the pits now. The exciting end of the race. Pit stops are always intriguing. If people get a slow on, if traffic interferes, then as you saw in a couple of my first races, it can slow some people down. But we got a clean stop. We're away, nice and safe, back onto the track on some nice new tyres, the hardest compound with the faint grey stripe, and back out we go onto the track. And now after that out lap, we made some time really on our closest competitors. Hamilton was, I think that says 7.3 seconds behind us. I got no idea how I got that far ahead of him. But the pit stop sector range thing went really well for us. Really well. I was surprised at how well it went. And Fernando Alonso gets his 4th or 5th victory of the year. And considering we're only at Spa, which I think is round 12, that is quite a lot. But it was a good finish for us. Our second race for Force India, I believe. And now we have to pick our rival, and I thought, I'm in amongst some good drivers here, but I want to drive for Lotus next year. I don't know what it was, I just felt I want Lotus, and hopefully Lotus will want me if I can race well enough. And here we are in Monza now, qualifying. I find it a difficult track because you have to have good straight line speed, but with that you then lose time in the slower corners and it all just doesn't go well, and this chicane is just atrocious. I don't know how people do it. I always overshoot it just like that, and then you lose speed coming out of the exit, and then you lose time, and I just can't do it. But after the first 2 corners we started to pick up, and then if you just watch that ghost, it just shoots out of that exit. I wish I could do that on that corner. I wish I was as good as the ghost. Dear me. Unfortunately, it just looks like we haven't got the qualifying pace that we need still. Oh gosh. Don't even think about ridiculing me for this qualifying. Monza is not my strongest track, as you just saw from that chicane. I can never keep it on the racing line. I always seem to spend too much time on the curb, we'll say. Seem to decide that I want to spend some time with the curbs, you know. Just want a quick cup of tea with them, really. Maybe they look a bit lonely. Who knows? But anyway, this is our qualifying. We qualify 18th, the slowest of the fastish people. Unfortunately, just can't seem to find some pace in this car in qualifying like our teammate can, Paul di Resta. He seems to be able to get 15th, 16th or so. But unfortunately, as you can see, me and my engineer seemed a bit disappointed in that, but of course we always have good race pace. Always strong at the start, and then during the race our pace is quick enough to be able to hold our position well enough. And up ahead of us, one of the cars went very wide to get some space to themselves. There we go up the inside of our teammate, and oof, we got some horrible contact there. It's bumper cars right now. That was not a good first start for us, but surprisingly I didn't get penalised for that. I thought I was going to, because it was terrible driving from me. I'm looking at Rosberg and I think, no, I'm going to go up the inside, gives me some space on these next few people. And there is our rival, Kimi Räikkönen, go up the inside of him. That is a great move, I feel. Personally, I feel that move went very well for me. And as you see, Massa just got ahead of me there, and oh gosh, that first chicane is my bane, really. And I just skipped across the curb, went straight into Massa, and I've got a penalty. I'm not disputing that. Terrible driving from me. Too eager to get the place back, and it just didn't go well. We say that. But here at the pits we changed our front wing because of course at the start we lost a little bit, which is never helpful. So the team obviously did the right thing, putting a new wing on, and we just had to see what we can do, really. We came out 10th, so we're still in the points after our pit stop, which is always a good sign, and it shows that I do have good pace. As I can come out of the pits still in the points, it means I can get away from the midfield. So our race pace is good, we just need to work on the qualifying pace. By we I mean me, and I need to do a decent lap for once in my life. But here we do what we have to do, we get past the slow runner nice and early. Maybe cut the curb a little bit, but we don't mind. But here, we're under a little bit of pressure from Grosjean. And unfortunately, I just defend too aggressively and I just get thrown into that wall and lose my front wing. Got a penalty for it as well, I think. Got a penalty for my troubles. So I had 20 seconds of penalties. I believe, I'm not too sure. I can't actually remember if I did get penalties, but anyway, we're in the pits. We had to change our front wing because we didn't have one, basically. And that was just, yeah, that was our race pretty much over. Came out 15th, a long way away a long way away from the points, but we thought we'd get a consolation and quickly overtake Vlok just before the end of the race. For pride more than anything. Not going to get points, which is a bit unfortunate, but more fortunately for us, our rival Kimi Räikkönen was out of the race. I think he had an incident. I don't know who with, but he was out of the race. It says retired when I looked. So as you see, he's 22nd. So he wasn't the only one to retire. So I assumed that there was an incident between him and someone else. But yeah, it wasn't good. It wasn't a good race for us. We were over a minute behind the eventual winner, but here we have some contract offers from Caterham, HRT and Marussia. I'm at Force India. Why do I want to go there? I have the chance of going to Lotus if I can beat Räikkönen, so of course I'm not going to go to those three. No disrespect to them or anything, but I'd rather move up in the world than down in the F1 world. But here we're in Singapore. I feel I went for an aggressive qualifying setup, as I had the quick setup 1 bar to the left, which meant that we had more downforce but less straight line speed. But at Singapore there aren't many straights or places where you get up ahead of steam without stopping very early on afterwards, so we don't lose too much. And if you see in the corners, we actually gain time on the leaders of Hamilton and Vettel. I think it is going for the pole, keeps switching between the two of them. We lost a bit of time there as I got a bit of wheel spin and the back end kicked out a bit, and I just couldn't do anything about that, and lost a bit more time there as I had a little kiss with the wall again, losing the back end. And I was thinking to myself, I swear I put more downforce on, surely this car shouldn't be so unstable in the quicker corners. But anyway, we still managed to keep in touch with the leaders, and I feel if we didn't have so many mistakes, we could have broken into the top 10. But as you can see, in the slower part of the track, we do gain quite a fair bit of time, and I think you can now all understand what I mean by if we didn't have those silly errors, had a chance of going for quite a high position actually. But of course DRS coming up to the last corner here, quite a tough corner, you have to go out wide, stay on the curbs, and we get our best qualifying position of our career so far, 11th in Singapore. I was very happy with that. We've just got to go one step further and get in the top 10, then I'll be happy. Now it's just the race to go. Our objective was finish 12th, and for the first time we have completed a qualifying objective. Yes! But unfortunately the race was a bit wet. Our rival Kimi Räikkönen I think was 6th, maybe? I didn't quite catch that. But of course we've gone to a rich setting, we want a powerful start. We get close to Rosberg there, but into the first corner we weave our way through the traffic to get up to 4th, and then into 2nd, just behind Button. We just couldn't get enough momentum through that first corner to get around Button. But as I had the wet setup, which it is known as it says, it's better in the wet. Since I had the wet setup, I thought, you know what, I'm going to be a lot more controlled in these conditions, so I'm going to go for the move, and I did, and I made it stick with a little bit of contact, it has to be said, and then I went a bit wide. But behind us, Button and Räikkönen, I believe it was, had an incident in the tunnel. They got a bit too close together. I think one was going for a move on me and the other was going up for a move on the other one, and I think they just hit each other unfortunately, which brought out the safety car. And then, as you saw, I slowed down the pack heavily there and then quickly got away from them to get a good start off. But here we go very deep into the corner, and Vettel was right behind us, and I was gutted. I was so disappointed in myself. But just listen to this.
There's no need to worry about getting past this guy. He's got a time penalty.
The best news I've ever heard in my life. I was just like, okay, I can take it easy. No need to go deep in 20 corners again. As you can see, I took it easy as there was a little traffic behind me. But I stayed within 10 or 20 seconds. I think it was that Vettel had penalties. He may have played a part in that incident between Button and Raikkonen that caused them both through a tyre. But I was very happy with that. My first victory for Force India, my second victory of the year.
Great
And I'm
job.
very happy with that. That puts me fairly high in the championship now. I'm up to 6th with over triple figure points. I'm happy with that. And in the constructors, Force India are just behind HRT, my former team, who I got a lot of points for. But anyway, that is this episode. I hope you enjoyed it, guys. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe for more from me and Leo and Luke from TheLADLAW, and have a nice day.